This is page 10 in your packet, and we're going to do number 36 as a sample. And they have given us an expression, and they want us to find the missing dimension, which if the volume of a prism it's a rectangular prism, so it's length times width times height, that means that each of the three factors would be multiplied together to get this polynomial expression. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the expression by each of the two factors that were given, and then that will give us the third factor. Now we could use polynomial long division, but I prefer synthetic division. It is a lot faster for us and easier to do. So let me make a little bit of room here for us on the video here. So we're going to do synthetic substitution, and you guys already have this worked out in your packet. Let's see if there's any gaps. I've got x cubed, x squared, I've got x, I've got a constant. All the spaces are accounted for. So I don't have any gaps that I need to put any placeholder in for. So I'm just going to put my coefficients in the box. So it'd be 2, 17, 46, and 40. And then I'm going to divide it. If I want to divide by this first one, this x plus 2, remember, whenever they give you a factor like that, set it equal to 0, and then solve so that you can get your x equals negative 2, so I'm dividing by negative 2 first. So drop down the 2. And I could have started with the x plus 4, but I just chose the x plus 2 to start with. So multiply in, add out, so 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 17 minus 4, or 17 plus negative 4, so always adding, is 13. 13 times negative 2 is negative 26. 46 plus negative 26 is negative 20, or sorry, is positive 20. So 46 minus 26 really is 20. And then 20 times negative 2 is negative 40, and 40 plus negative 40, 40 minus 40 is 0. Should be getting a 0 here. If you don't, you did something wrong. Then we're going to divide this again. So what you can do is you could write this as an expression as 2x squared plus 13x plus 20 and then divide it. But you can just extend, add a little bit, another box here like this, and then figure out what your next divisor is going to be. So take this x plus 4, set it equal to 0, subtract the 4 there, x equals negative 4. So we're going to divide by negative 4 here. So drop the 2 out, multiply in, add out. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. 13 plus negative 8 is 5. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 20 and negative 20 is 0, and that's good. We should get 0 because it is a factor. And then these right here will be your expression. Now remember that you divided twice. So what that does is it takes the power down 2 levels. So the first time you divide, it takes you to an x squared. The second time you divide, it takes you to x. So this is really 2x plus 5 because it was a positive 5. That is the other dimension as an expression here. So 2x plus 5 is my other, that would be like the length of this rectangular prism here. That would be my other dimension. This is another sample on page number 10. It doesn't have a number for it. It's the tax reasoning question, and it is a very interesting question here. It's kind of like a puzzle. We're going to have to work it a very interesting way that you'll see. So they're saying that x minus 5 is a factor here. So we can set that equal to 0 to figure out what x would have to be. X would have to be a positive 5. And we're going to be doing some synthetic division here. It's asking us what k has to be for this to be a factor. And if this is a factor, that means that the last number when we do synthetic division would be 0. So really, what value of k will make the last number when we do division with 5 be 0? So it's pretty interesting. So we've got starting with a power of 3, then a power of 2, then a power of 1, and then a constant. So there's no gaps in it, so we're just going to set up our synthetic division here. So we've got x cubed minus x squared plus kx, and the only reason I really write it above the box is to make sure that I am double checking that there's no gaps. I figure that will kind of force me to make sure there's no gaps. So my coefficients are 1, -1, k, and -30. So, and we're dividing by 5. So we will always drop the 1 out. And so right now I'm going to kind of act like this is a normal problem. And I'm just going to see how far I can get. So 5 times 1 is 5. -1 plus 5 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Now I'm at the point where I'm looking at k and 20. I don't know what that is. Okay, so this is k plus 20. Who knows what that is? Now I know that for x minus 5 to be a factor, I know that the last number would need to be 0. So I can kind of go fill in that last number and kind of work my way backwards. For this number to be 0, this number in the box needs to be 30, so that the -30 and it will cancel and give me 0. So I know that that needs to be 30. If that needs to be 30, then I know that this number right here multiplied by the 5 needs to be 30. So what times 5 would give me 30? Well, 6 times 5 would give me 30. So now I know that this number needs to be 6. So now my real question is, what does k need to be? So k plus 20 is going to give me 6. So k plus 20 equals 6. So k needs to be -14. So this one is A. -14. So you kind of had to start working it like normal to get the 20. Then you had to work your way backwards to figure out the 6. And then you had to figure out what k is. So very interesting kind of a puzzle problem.